We'll make sure that gets included on the next year's calendars. Also, next week is our Easter service, sunrise at 7 o'clock, right in here. And then 1/2 hour later, we have the breakfast, which will be down in the fellowship hall. Please sign up for the breakfast, if you will, even today. That will help out a great deal. We have Sunday school for all ages at 9:30, and then our morning service from 10:30 to 11:30 with no evening service. So keep that in mind, if you will. Also, a couple of Sundays from now, we'll be looking at the subject of true friendship. So that will be coming up as the message title for April 15th.
Jess Goodnuff?
Yes?
I have a warrant for your arrest.
What's the charge?
Being charged under Romans Article 6, Section 23. You are a known sinner and continually falling short of God's desire for your life.
You gotta be kidding me.
Mr. Goodnuff, I need to advise you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be appointed for you. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm no sinner. If it's a sinner you want, arrest Dan Mosier. Hey, I'm no saint, but I'm sure no sinner.
Tell it to the judge.
Oh, what? It's a bad rap. Hey, where's the video cam when you need one? You got it, guys. Give me a call. Hey, help me out here. Where's all my friends at when I need them?
What you gonna do?
Give me a break.
What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys.
All rise. Hear ye, the mighty one, God the Lord, speaks and summons the earth. He summons the heavens above and the earth below, that he may judge his people. Be seated. Your Honor, the first case is the State versus Jess Goodnuff. Mr. Goodnuff is being charged with being a known sinner and continually falling short of what God desires for his life.
And how does the defendant plead?
Your Honor, I plead not guilty.
Excuse me, Mr. Goodnuff, but where's your defense attorney?
Oh, well, I decided I would defend myself.
You are aware, aren't you, that a public defender will be provided if you would like?
Yeah, I know, but thanks, but I won't need him.
Very well. So that's your decision. That's your plea then, not guilty?
Yes, not guilty. I intend to prove to the court that I'm basically a nice guy, a good person. I'm no worse than anybody else.
Mr. Goodnuff, are you sure you won't accept the public defender's help?
I don't need anybody's help.
Very well then. Let me instruct everyone that the burden of proof in this case lies with the prosecutor. It will be his task to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Goodnuff is in fact a sinner. Now, if he should succeed in this, I will have no choice but to find the defendant guilty as charged and to punish him to the full extent of the law. Is the prosecutor ready?
Yes.
Is the defense ready?
You.
You may call your first witness.
Defense calls Mrs. Paula Hilke to the stand.
Mrs. Paula Hilke, to the stand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Paula, please tell the court how long you've worked with me.
Oh, about 10 years.
And in that time, you've seen the quality of work that I do.
Yes, I have, Jess.
And wouldn't you say that I'm one of the most conscientious men that you've ever worked with? And I only do top quality work?
Oh, yes, Jess, you do a very good job. Oh, Jess does a good job, all right. I remember one time he got so mad at the foreman because we were asked to work overtime. He threw his hammer, kicked the toolbox, screamed at me, and cussed out the ladder. But in spite of all that, he really did do a good job the whole time.
No further questions, thank you.
He may scream and throw temper tantrums, but no, as far as the work, he'll make sure he does the job right.
You can step down now.
He may gripe and groan and grumble and be in a bad mood the whole day, but, well, actually, he can be a royal jerk.
Objection, I move to strike.
You wish to have the witness's testimony stricken from the record?
No, I wish to strike the witness.
Oh!
Order.
Aha! Your Honor, I wish to enter this as People's Exhibit number 666 for the prosecution.
Yes, Mr. Goodnuff, do you have any more questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
But he really does do a good job.
Does the prosecutor wish to cross-examine?
Yes. Mrs. Hilke, let me just clarify one little point in your testimony. Are you telling us that Jess here is basically a good guy?
Oh, yeah.
That he is essentially, he's a nice person.
Yes.
So at heart, he's no worse than anybody else?
Yeah.
So are you asking the court to believe that Jess here is perfect?
No, he's not perfect. Is anybody perfect?
Exactly. No further questions.
The witness may step down. Mr. Goodnuff, you may call your next witness.
Defense would like to call Mrs. Amy Goodnuff to the stand.
Mrs. Amy Goodnuff, to the stand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Hello, sweetheart. Did you see that I vacuumed and dusted the house for you today? Have I told you how much I love you? I bought you a rose. Oh, yes. Oh, and I found that anniversary gift I forgot to give you last year. Sweets for the sweet. Now, Mrs. Goodnuff. Amy. Honey. Please tell the court how long you've been married to me.
10 long.
And wonderful.
Whatever. 10 long and wonderful years.
Okay, sweetheart, and now would you tell them that I have been a faithful husband all those years?
Okay, wait. Is faithful the same as good? Okay. Yes, Jess has been a faithful husband.
Thank you. No further questions.
Does the prosecution wish to cross-examine this witness?
Yes. Mrs. Goodnuff, it's obvious you'd agree that Jess here has been a faithful husband, that basically a good guy.
Yeah, basically.
So he's essentially a nice person.
Well, he is a person. And he can be nice.
So, would you say at heart he's no different than anybody else?
No, I guess not. Not if you put it that way.
Well, would you go so far as to ask the court to believe that Jess here has been a perfect husband?
Jess?
Perfect? I told you to plead insanity.
You may call your next witness.
Defense would like to call Reverend David Lietzel to the stand, please.
Reverend David Lietzel, to the stand, please.
That's Lietzel.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Reverend Lietzel, would you please tell the court that Jess Goodnuff was a regular attender to your church?
Jess Goodnuff? Jess Goodnuff?
Yes. Please tell the court that Jess Goodnuff was a regular and faithful member of your church.
Objection, Your Honor. He's leading the witness.
Sustained.
Maybe if you had a picture or something.
It's me, you idiot!
Objection! Your Honor, now he's abusing the witness.
Sustained.
Oh, now I remember you. You're the young fellow that sleeps in the third pew from the back every Christmas and Easter.
Oh, no further questions.
Came for 3 Sundays in a row back when you had that hernia operation back in 2001, right?
Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any questions?
Yes. Oh, no.
Very well, then. The witness may step down. Does the defendant have any further witnesses?
Just one, Your Honor. I'd like to call Mrs. Myrtle Goodnuff to the stand.
Mrs. Myrtle Goodnuff, to the stand, please.
Yes?
Come on out, ma'am.
Pardon?
Come on out, Mrs. Goodnuff. We need you to come to the stand here. Watch your step.
Yeah. Well, I've had back surgery and hip surgery and knee surgery and I even had my big toe done. Boy, that hurt. Boy, I'll tell you what. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my...
Mrs. Goodnuff,
What?
I'm going to need you to stand. The swearing of the oath here.
Well, why didn't you tell me that before I sat down?
Well, can you stand here? I can help you. Be careful. There you go. Watch your step.
All right.
Okay, we're going to need your left hand on the Bible, please. And your right hand up. Left hand, Bible. And your left hand. Okay. Your left hand. Your right hand. There you go. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Let the record show that Mrs. Goodnuff is my own saint of a mother.
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Goodnuff, do you recognize this letter?
Oh, Jesse, you know I'm blinder than a bat.
Your
Let
glasses
me see.
on, Mom. Read it, thing, please.
All right, just hold on a minute here. Let's see. Yes, I remember this letter. This is the letter that I wrote to Jesse after he gave me that lovely birthday party. Oh, it was wonderful. There were balloons, pink and blue, although I don't know why he had the blue ones. But anyway, he jumped out of the cake, too. Almost gave me a heart attack. I told you not to do that, Jesse.
Thank you, Mom.
I
Okay.
had surgery and everything.
We would like to read this as defense exhibit number 1, just a portion of this letter.
Yes.
Thank you, Mom. Okay. Starts out. Dear Jess, thank you so much for the lovely birthday present.
Yes.
I am so proud of you and thankful that I have such a wonderful son as you. I am constantly bragging to my friends about you and your family. And it continues on a bit and it ends up with these words. I love you very much.
Very much.
Mom.
Mom. Yes. Amen.
Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any questions?
Yes. Could I see that correspondence? Mm-hmm. I see you might have left a little bit of this out. I'm constantly bragging to my friends and family and but you read all that. But it's this next part here you kind of left out. It says, we're all so proud of you that you've really turned your life around. Turned your life around. From what? Turned his life around. Isn't it true that he hasn't always been a saintly son? Isn't it true that for most of his miserable life, he's been a sickening sack of sordid sin who's been a source of sorrow to friends and family?
Well, still, he's really been a good boy.
Good boy. Well, what about in 2009 when he was arrested and you had to bail him out for what was it that the good boys do? Public intoxication?
Well,
Well, he's a good boy. Well, what about in 2010? That one summer night when you spent the entire night on your knees praying to God to save him from the drugs and alcohol.
How'd you know about that?
What about just last summer? When for 6 months, 6 days, and 6 hours, you doubted his marriage would even last.
Well, nobody's perfect.
You don't say. No further questions.
The witness may step down.
Careful here.
Sorry, Jesse.
Do you have any further witnesses, Mr. Goodnuff?
What for? It's hopeless.
There's no one that can come to your defense?
I have no defense.
Yes! He's guilty!
Order in the court. I will not tolerate these outbursts. All right. If there are no further questions, Mr. Prosecutor, do you wish to call any witnesses?
I don't need any witnesses.
Very well then. If there are no further arguments, then I must render a verdict. I want to remind you all that I take no pleasure in taking this action. Let no one think that I, even for a moment, enjoy passing judgment on the defendant here. But as was stated, all the prosecutor needed to do was show beyond a shadow of a doubt that Mr. Goodnuff here was a sinner and has fallen short of what God desires.
Who, me?
Call the public defender.
What?
You need the public defender.
What's the use?
He's very good.
Why do you call him good?
He's never lost a case.
But I'm already lost.
He's the judge's son.
Therefore, I find the defendant...
Your Honor, time out. Hold it for a minute.
Yes, Mr. Goodnuff?
I was wondering if it's too late to call for the public defender.
Objection, Your Honor! This case is history! He's guilty of sin!
Mr. Prosecutor, you shut your mouth. Now, I warned you against these outbursts. Mr. Goodnuff, I have to warn you here against playing games with this court. I urge you not to try to stall with any more clever tactics.
No, really, I know I made a mistake when I tried to defend myself. And I just wonder if it's a chance for me to throw myself onto the mercy of the court and ask for the public defender.
Very well. Call the public defender.
Hello, Mr. Goodnuff.
Boy, am I glad to see you. Here, have a seat.
Are you serious about this?
Sure.
No, I mean it. Are you really sincere about this? Are you ready to trust me with your entire defense?
Yes.
You'll do everything I ask?
Yes.
I'm going to have you change your plea to guilty as charged.
What? Are you crazy? That prosecutor will rip me a new one, huh?
Do you trust me?
Okay. What do you want me to do?
I just want you to plead guilty. Your Honor, my client wishes to change his plea.
What?
Mr. Goodnuff, is it your desire to change your plea?
Yes. Yes, sir. Guilty as charged.
Guilty. That's your defense, guilty. So, I say you're a sorry excuse for a saint, you'll say?
Guilty.
Excuse me, what was that?
Guilty.
I can't hear you.
Guilty.
You're nasty to your co-workers?
Guilty.
I say you've been a lousy husband. You've ignored your responsibilities. In fact, you've barely been a husband at all.
Guilty.
You're hardly dedicated when it comes to church.
Guilty.
You broke your mother's heart.
Guilty.
I say you're a sinner and your life has fallen short of what God desires.
Guilty, okay? I'm guilty as charged.
I rest my case.
Does the public defender have anything further to say?
No, Your Honor. I rest my case.
You what? That's my defense? I'm guilty as sin, and you rest your case?
Don't be afraid. I know what I'm doing. Just trust me.
Both sides having now presented their case, it becomes my responsibility to render a verdict. The defendant and counsel will please rise for the rendering of the verdict. From the outset, it was understood that to gain a conviction, the prosecutor had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Goodnuff here is a sinner and that his life falls short of what God desires. Both the testimony given in this case and the evidence presented clearly show this to be true. Mr. Goodnuff, the evidence alone would have been enough to convict you, but by your own admission of guilt, you've made my verdict here very clear. I have no choice but to find the defendant guilty as charged. The penalty for this crime is clearly stated. The wages of sin is death. I hereby order that he be remanded to the custody of the jailer until arrangements can be made for his execution. Case closed. Son has come to take the punishment of those who ask for his defense.